Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, given the equation 2y equals negative 3x plus 18, find algebraically x-intercept, y-intercept, slope, and 0. So let's see. What does it mean by find algebraically? Well, basically they want you to use formulas, equations, and things like that, okay? There is an equation given to you, and if you notice, this equation is not in a slope-intercept form, okay? So before I can say, oh, the slope is the number next to the x, I need to make sure that it is on a slope-intercept form, which, like I said, is not in a slope-intercept form, so be careful with that. What is the very first thing that they want me to find? Well, they want me to find the x-intercept. And what is important to remember about the x-intercept is that when it comes to writing the coordinates, I know one of them is going to have a 0. So the question is, who gets 0, the x or the y? And on the x-intercept, the y is the one that gets the 0. So that order pair, which of course we're missing the x, it's the one that we can actually use on my equation to find the x-intercept. So let me write it down over here. And the point that I'm going to use is going to be x and 0. And I said x because there's no value for x. Okay? So we're going to write down my equation. And don't worry about the equation having x and y on two different sides. It's totally okay. So I got 2y equals negative 3x plus 18. I will replace y with a 0 and the rest pretty much the same. Is that right? So 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 3 times x gives me negative 3x plus 18. Next, I need to get rid of the 18. So I'm going to subtract 18 on both sides. 0 minus 18 is negative 18. Negative 3x stays as it is, and my 18 is canceled already. Okay? What's the next thing I need to do? Well, I need to divide by negative 3 so that I can get rid of the coefficient. This negative 3 divided by negative 3 gives me a positive 1, which is the same as x by itself. And negative 18 divided by negative 3 gives me a 6. And this would be the x-intercept. So we're done with the x-intercept. What's next? Well, now I need to find the y-intercept. I can do the same method that I did earlier for this question, or I can actually change my equation into slope-intercept form. But just since I want you to practice, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to change to the y-intercept, and I'm going to find something about this point in the y-intercept. And what I know is that one of them has a 0. And the one that has the 0 is the x. Okay? So I'm going to write down my equation just the way it is. 2y equals negative 3x plus 18. But now I'm not going to replace the y. I am going to replace the x with a 0. So this is my y. That didn't change. So this is now 2y equals negative 3 times 0 is 0 plus 18. And 2y is this equals to 18. Next, I need to divide by 2 because I need to get rid of the coefficient 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, which is the same as y equals 9. So my y-intercept is going to be 0 and 9. Okay, so let me finish it up over here. And let's move to the next one. So now I need to find the slope. Now, to find the slope, I am gonna need to change my equation into slope-intercept form. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next, and I'm gonna write down over here slope, and let's go ahead and highlight this. So let's write down the equation. The equation says 2y equals negative 3x plus 18. And remember, in order for my equation to look like the slope-intercept form, the y needs to be by itself. And luckily for us, there's only one thing that I need to get rid of it, which is the 2. My coefficient 2, I am going to divide by 2. Notice how when I divide it by 2, I am dividing each term at the right side of the equation. I'm dividing it by 2. And 2 divided by 2, it's a 1, which is the same as y equals negative 3/2 x plus 9. What we're going to do right next to this is I'm going to write down the equation for the slope-intercept form. Okay? And I'm going to write it down right below that just so that it can help me identify two things over here. First, it's going to help me identify the B, which is my Y-intercept. And I want you to notice how earlier we actually worked out the Y-intercept, and we got a 9. And that's a 9 right there. Now I'm going to circle this one over here. And M, it's the slope. So that's my answer. And the slope here will be negative 3/2. One of the things that I noted with the students is that they want to write down the x next to it, and it's not needed. My slope is the coefficient by itself, okay? And the last thing that I need to do, I need to find the 0 for this equation. And the 0 will be, exactly, it will be something that comes from the x-intercept, right? Now notice how the x-intercept has two values, the x and the y. The 0 is when the line crosses the x-axis, and is crossing it at exactly 6. Therefore, my 0 is x equals 6.